Okay, so you draw your XY line. As I said, the base is 70 mm long, so you can mark that off. So 70, and then you're coming over here 26, just so we can get this side here. Okay, so just mark off the 26 there as well. I'm actually going to mark off the center as well. So 70 divided by 2 gives you 35. I'm just going to take a light line up there along the center. And I said the height of the object was 70 mm. So along that line you can mark off 70, and that will give you the height to draw the object in the elevation. So just join the points. You're basically making a triangle here. Join the points together like that. Now what you can do as well, then this here point here has to go to the top as well. Just join that up. Okay. Now you'll see as well, whenever we draw the plan, this point here and this point here are going to be in line. Okay. These two are in line and that one's over there. Okay. So right behind this line here in elevation would be a hidden line to represent this back point here. Okay. Well, we'll get that now in a minute. To get the angle of this cut here along this side, we're going to measure up. So I just sketched this earlier. 25, 6, 7 is it? 28. Come up 28 millimeters here. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Measure up here 28. Should be there. Okay, and then along this side, then you're going to measure up a length of 43. I'm going to measure up 43 here. Now this would be more ideal if we were in school. I could give you a sheet where we don't have to draw this out. Plan the elevation would already be drawn, and we just do the development, but we won't have access to that at the minute. Okay, so that's basically the object in elevation. So I'm just going to darken in the lines that we need to darken in here. So that's the base. That's going to be the cut. Okay, so we're actually cutting this object there, and then that'll be one side, the other side there. Now we'd see this line as well. Of course there's another line right behind it that'll be hidden detail, but we wouldn't see it. Okay, so that's basically our object there. I'm just lightly coloured in here in elevation. This is the object. This part that I'm colouring in or shading in is going to be the part that we're going to be drawing a development of. Okay. Quickly shading that into it. Now we need to draw the plan fairly quickly, so you're going to come down 20 from the XY line. To draw this we need the centre point, so I'm going to take the centre point lightly down, like that. And what length are them lines there? They're coming out about 35 from the centre. Okay. Okay, so if we take this point here down to that line there that I have for the 20, or maybe you have a 10, okay, just get that point there, so I'll mark it. So I have that point there. If you get your compass and set it to 35, I want you to set your compass to 35. From this point, I want you to swing an arc. Wherever it crosses this line will give us the center point for this object. Okay, so that is going to be the center point for this object here. Okay, so if I extend this line down, extend this line down, and this line down. Okay, so what I've done there is I've taken the two sides down. Don't know how far I'm coming yet. I've just extended this line further down because I know there's going to be another point down here. Okay. Because you have your compass set to 35, you should be able to mark the point down below here as well. Okay. So if you like, I'll label these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically the ones I've found so far is that's point 2 and that is point 5. Okay. Point 1 here is just going to be a straight line. That's going to be point 1. If you measure it, it should be 35 millimeters. If That's going to be point 1. Now we need to get points 3 and 4, so we have our compass already set to 35. We'll swing an arc there wherever it crosses, and swing an arc down here. Right, okay, that might not. Okay, so we'll do it another way. Some people, after saying they don't have compasses, so what we'll do is I'll just measure down the distance here, so that is 10, 12. Okay, so just down here, measure down 12. Change it up a bit. Okay, so that'll give us a point here. So I came down from here to here, 12 millimeters. That gives me 0.3. And then from here to 4, the distance there should be 44. We mark off 44 from 3 to get 4. That gives me 0.4. Okay, you can just join them points together. Okay, is anyone confused setting up that plan? As I say, I just kind of made up this object here. So if you don't have it exactly like mine, that's okay. The main thing here is that you have a pentagon, so that we can draw the development of it. Okay, so that's my pentagon. I have my center point here, so I want to join all 5 sides to the center now, like that. Just join them all to the center. That'll give us these lines here. One should already be joined to the center for you. Okay. Once you join them all to the center, then we need to take down the cut surface for them. So for 1 here, to get this point for the cut surface, we just take that line down straight. And do the same here. Take this line down straight. Gives me a point here. Okay. I'm going to do the same here. Take this point down. That'll give me a point on 3 and 4, which would be there and there. And to get 2 and 5, I'm just going to tell you the distance for 5 is going to be 18 millimeters. I think this one should be something similar. 5, 6, it's actually 16. Okay. So from 2 here, you're going to come down 16 millimeters. Gives you that point. And from 5, you're going to come up 18. Gives you that point. Okay. Guys, just get that done roughly. I just want to draw this up so that we can draw the basic shape of the development. Okay, I was going to move on and do more complicated development, but I decided because you're off next week that we would just leave that and we'd start that next week. Okay, so I just decided we'd do a more complicated shape of something similar to what we done on Monday and Tuesday. Okay. This here height, is it? This one? Yeah, that is, what was it again? That was 44, okay? So that's 44 millimeters. On the other side there, the shorter side, on the far side was 28, I think it was. 28 millimeters. Just have that roughly, guys, it's not too important. And you're just joining the two of them together to get this line here. And that point then at the bottom here, that's over 26. Okay, and then you just join that to the top, and that's what gives you that line, okay? Now, in there would be hidden detail for anyone who's just waiting for people to catch up there. If you want to just put that in while you're waiting. Okay, so this is basically the object we have, and we've cut this angle here off it. Okay, so we want to draw the development of that now. Okay, so we know there's 5 sides to this object. Okay, So, is everyone ready? Anyone got any questions before we move on to do the development part here? As I say, I'm videoing this, so hopefully I'll be able.
Yes, sir.
What's that, Shane?
Just saying, I'm groundswell.
Right, good. Okay, guys, again, this here, it doesn't matter if you don't have it exact, okay? It's just to draw a basic shape. As I say, I just kind of sketched out the idea here earlier before you all joined. Okay. It's just better to do this than do a basic pyramid, because you'd never, especially at higher level, you'd never get a basic kind of pyramid shape. Okay, so we've made the pyramid into kind of a pentagon, where it has 5 sides instead of 4. Okay, so we start the development. So the development of this here object is slightly different in that all 5 sides join to this one point up here at the top. Okay, so if I pick a point, hopefully I'll have enough room now. If I pick a point here, okay, I'm going to start at that point. And what I will do is I'll draw a straight line from that point, light line out there. Okay, this is going to be my starting point. Okay, so just anywhere at all, guys, here in your sheet where you have space, draw that point and draw the line out. So as I say, if you didn't get the elevation, the plan drawn exactly, that's okay. I'll try and make the measurements clear to you as I draw it. So if everyone can just move on to the development here now. Okay, just pick a point somewhere. Make sure there's enough space to both sides of the point. Okay. If you do run underneath it, okay. So I put a point here, drawing a straight line out. Now to draw the development, I know there's 5 sides all joining to this one point, or the apex if you like. Okay. So I need to get this length here. I need to measure the length of the side here. And the length of mine, everyone's could be slightly different maybe. The length of mine's is 78 millimeters. Okay. So if everyone could just use the 78, okay, I've read it there. If everyone could just use that so we can keep it the same. Now hopefully your measurement is fairly similar to 78. What we're going to do is we're going to set our compass to 78, or if you want you could just measure the side of it like this here. Okay, 1 point to the top, 1 point to the bottom. That'll give you your length. What we're going to do is I'm going to put the compass at that point that I drew, and I'm just going to draw a circle starting at that line up. I don't know how far I need it, so I'm just going to draw it up to the top of my sheet there. Okay, I've only got maybe, I don't know if you can see that there. Okay, so it just goes around like that. Now I shouldn't need that much because there's only 5 sides in this object. Okay, so because this object's different, all the points are joined into one point. I know I can rotate them all around 1 point. So now I need to get the 5 sides. Okay, to get the length, remember, or to get the lengths, I got it from elevation. So I got the length of that side from elevation, and I rotated it around. Remember, to get the widths, you go to plan. So we need to measure the widths of these 5 sides. Now they should all be the same. I think it was 44. Or was it 43? It was 44. Okay. So it was written there even. Okay, so 44 is the lengths. So I'll just write them there again. 44. So what we're going to do is you're going to set your compass now to 44. Or if you want, you can just set it like that. It'll give you your width. Okay, because that should be 44 or very close to it. Remember, there's 5 sides. So if I say here, this point is starting at 1, I'm going to swing a point there. That'll give me point 2. Keep going. So that'll give me point 3 there. Point 4. Because it's a pentagon, we know all 5 sides are equal. That's point 5. Now remember, 5 can't join to 1, because if you look at the plan, they don't join. So I need to go an extra 1 so that I get a second point 1. Okay, so if you were to cut this development out, as you can see, if it only goes from 1 to 5, you only have 4 sides anyway, so you know you're wrong. But I need a point 1 to join to point 1 so you can close the development. So I need to go an extra point. and that's going to be called 1 as well. Okay? So if you count in between, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and I know there's 5 sides in a pentagon, so I'm right. All we do then is we join 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on. So just take your time, join them together. That gives us the lengths of the base. Okay. So obviously they're going to be the same length, and they're all going to be straight lines. So just join them together straight. And the last one here. Okay. And what I will do as well, just a light line, I'll join 1 here to the center point just to close up. Actually, we can join all these points to the apex. We'll need them all going to the apex. So in elevation here, you can see every line, because it's kind of pyramid shape, joins back to this one point at the top. We need to join all these points back to the top. Okay, so just a light line for now. Okay. So hopefully you have something that looks like this now. Anybody have any questions before we move on? No? So we need to get the cut surface. So obviously now, yes?
No, fine, just
Good. Actually what we'll do is we'll draw the base first actually. Okay, it'll be a little bit easier in case there is people catching up, okay? So the base again is just going to be a regular pentagon, so it's actually just going to be this shape here. I'm just going to draw it in the middle here between points 3 and points 4. Okay? So you can go ahead and draw your pentagon there. Remember the lengths of the sides are all going to be here, which is 44. Okay? Just make sure your compass sets at 44. Remember the angles in a pentagon? Anyone remember what the angles of a pentagon are? Yeah, 72. So you'll need your protractor here. Just looking for mine here. You'll need your protractor to draw a pentagon. Remember, we already have this one line here drawn anyway. Now you can draw this pentagon in between any of the points. I'm just usually we would draw it in between the middle one if it's possible. Okay, so I'm going to draw it in between 3 and 4. Now, so all the points as we said, so 72 degrees, you just mark them off. So I know now. That's going to be my first point. Use 72 now on the other side. There. Then you'll have one end in the middle. But for the middle one, all you need to do is use your compass and swing 2 arcs and they should cross and give you the centre, like that. Okay, and if you want now, before you join them together, you can measure all the sides and make sure they're all equal. That'll let you know that you've drawn it right. Okay, so this is kind of back to first year drawn. I'm just going to join them up, and that is going to be the base for this object. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so it's right on there, that's the base. And we have our 5 sides here. Now we just need to mark off the height of our 5 sides, and we'll also need to do kind of this top shape here as well for the top surface. Okay, obviously it'll be a lot smaller than the base because all the sides are kind of caving in on each other. Okay. Okay, so we start moving on here now. Hopefully everyone's kind of got this much done. So we need to start measuring true lengths again for the sides. I know the true length of point 1 is going to be that length. 2 and 5 are both going to be the same. They're going to be this length. And 3 and 4 are both going to be the same. They're going to be that length, okay? So I'm going to use my compass for this, guys. It's just going to be the quickest method. We know that's going to be 28 millimeters long. So if you set your compass there to 28, or you can just use your length if you have the elevation drawn. Okay, and you can just swing that point from 1 up. That will give you point 1 kind of on the top surface. Okay. And actually we have 1 in the other side, so you can do the exact same thing to the other side while we have the compass set. That gives us our 2 points 1. Okay. To move on then, to get the length of this line, we need to take a straight line out to one of the edges, like that. Okay. And what we can do then is we can either measure that length or that length. Now that length should be similar to that length. Okay. So the length, I'll just measure it for people there in case people don't have the full elevation and plan drawn. The length of this line is going to be 36, okay? 36 millimeters. Now you can, if you want, you can measure the distance from here, which is the apex, down to that point, and then you'd be swinging it off here. The way I've done it is I've measured it from the base up, so I'd be going from here to there. Remember, points 2 and points 5 will be the same length, so they'll both be 36. You're swinging your point there for 2, the same there for 5. So that gives me 0.2, and that gives me 0.5. Okay. And you can do the same thing then, just for the height of this side. If you wanted to, in theory, you could just take the point across, measure that length, or it should be just that length there anyway. Because that's as long as all your sides are drawn properly. So I can see I have that length for the side. If I do take it across, okay, this should be the same. So that is for points 4 and 3, which are on the same point. Okay, so in plan, you have 3 and 4 here. They're in a straight line, which means they're the same point up here. Okay, and that is 3, and that is 4. Okay, so that gives us all our points here for the top surface. Okay, now all we need to do is join them together. Alright. So we join them together using light lines. Remember, we still have to draw the top, so I'm not going to draw them in dark lines just yet. Okay. And guys, if you were to cut out this development at the end, you should find that it should fit perfectly if you've done it right. Okay, so I've joined all them points together just using a light line for now. Now we need to draw kind of the true shape of the cut surface on the top. Okay. Again, I'm going to draw it in the middle between 3 and 4 like what I done for the base. Okay. Now remember, we get our, I'll write it down again for these questions. You'll see it up here, if I write it up here. Yeah. So you get the true widths from plan, and you get your true lengths from the elevation. Okay, just remember that. That'll never change. Okay. So we need now to start getting our lengths and our widths. So basically the true length of the object, what we can do is we can measure these distances up here, and that'll give us kind of the true length of that whole cut surface. Okay, from there to there. I'm going to split it up into two measurements. I'm going to measure this part first, which is 22 millimeters. Write it in pen so you can see it. 22 millimeters, and that is from that point to that point, and then the rest of it then is 17 millimeters. Okay, so if you wanted to add up to get the full length, it was 39 millimeters. Okay. And the reason I've done it that way is because we're going to need to get this line anyway, to get these 2 points. So we may as well just split it up from the start. Okay, just to speed it up. Now, so I'm drawing it between 3 and 4. Doesn't matter where you draw it. I always draw it in the middle. So 3 and 4 is exactly 20 mil long there for me. So the centre point of that would be at 1. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll get the centre point of the base here as well. So it's 23. Okay. Just what that allows me to do is to draw a light line up, and I know I'm right because it's going through the centre point here. Okay. Right up here. What I can do now is I can set my compass to 22 and I can set my compass to 17 and just mark off the 2 points to give me the height. I would say it'll end up above here, somewhere just above our apex. Okay. Now, no reason, you can just do this straight away. Get that length, mark it off, so you can see it ends just right up there, but you need to come back anyway to get the 17, so and make sure you do the 17 from the right point as well. So you come down the way for 17, or if you set the compass to 22 you come up the way. Okay, so that just gives me 2 points, which I'll highlight in orange here. Point there and a point there. Okay. And you can extend them points up parallel to the side. So adjustable set square or sliding set square can be used. I'm just going to use the protractor here just as a sliding set square because I'm not going up too far. I'm just extending that line out to the sides here. Now actually the top point is going to be a point anyway. No, it's going to be a point anyway, so we actually don't need to extend that. That's going to be point 1 anyway. Alright, and then you'll have the 2 lines here coming out to a point there somewhere, and they'll join back then to 3 and 4. Okay. So the distance then between points 2 and 5 is what we need along here. So that's just going to be that width there. So again, you just get your true width from plan. So what I'll do is I'll just join a straight line. You should see it joins the 2 of them together. I'm just going to get my compass and measure from the centre point out. Now if you don't have your compass, you need to actually measure the length of the line. So if you want, you can measure the line and divide it by 2, or just measure half of it. And if I measure half of it here, I'm getting 18 millimeters. Okay, 18. So either come 18 then either side from my orange point here. Okay, or just get your compass and come 18 from either side. So I'm just going to use the compass because it'll be quicker. So you come out there, you'll get a point there and a point there. And that's basically all our points then to finish off our object. It's just a matter of joining them together. So I know they're going to be dark lines, so I'm just going to darken them in straight away. Take your time, make sure you join the right points together. Where are we for time? Okay, we're nearly done here now, isn't it? We actually have the object completed here, it's just a matter of darkening in the correct lines here now. Alright. Now this would be a fold line, so it would be a dashed line. And the same, this should be a dashed line here as well. Okay, it doesn't matter now. Any line that's a dashed line means we're folding it. Okay, so any line we're not folding will be just a straight line. Okay, basically the dashed lines in development are lines that if you were to cut this out to make it into a 3D object, the dashed lines are lines you wouldn't cut, you would fold them instead. Any line that's a solid line, like what I'm drawing here now, is the lines that we cut along with our scissors. Alright. Okay, so that's our object, and I'm just going to draw on the fold lines very quickly here. Okay, has anyone got any questions here now? So we're done here now. Nobody? Okay. That's good. Okay, that's our base, that's our top, and that's, say, surface 1, surface 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's our development done for our object here. So I'm just going to stop the camera.